Welcome to the Daily Plunge. We are in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 52. Chapter 51 prophesies about the downfall of Babylon. That even though they were God's instrument in his wrath against Israel, didn't mean that they were exempt. And precisely because of their malice and hatred for Israel, they too will be punished. So we pick up in 52, and Zedekiah starts on the throne at the age of 21, and he was put in place by the Babylonians to replace a puppet king that had been put in place by the Egyptians. And even though he had an opportunity to lead the people to submit to God and to quit fighting against the Babylonians, had an opportunity to lead the people back into a faithfulness of the Lord, he didn't. In fact, it says that he was even worse than all the predecessors. Now, one of the things I wanted to pick up on is that this young man, when he started, his mom was an Edomite, not Hebrew. And so he started off with a chip on his shoulder, was never truly grounded in the faith. In fact, it says he did evil in the sight of God. And so because they didn't move back to their place of faith, the Lord says in verse 3 that everything that happened to Jerusalem and Judah was because the Lord did this. The Lord thrust them from his presence. They go through nearly 2 years of siege to the point where there's no bread left. And when you've gone through 2 years of siege and there's no bread, this is a dismal, dismal place of despair. They are dying of famine, of pestilence and disease, and of the sword. Now, after the city is conquered and the city is torn down, it says that all the bronze, the pillars, the relief of the sea, and all these other instruments that have been there for more than 3 centuries, these bronze vessels, they're all melted down and taken back to Babylon. Now, in chapter 27, God prophesied that all the bronze would be carried away. And this is a sign not of God's defeat or that the gods of Babylon defeated the God of Israel, but rather that God himself decided that he was leaving the temple. It's the end of the temple, and it is the loss of God's presence. In 24 and 27, we hear about how the Babylonians put to death the temple leaders and other leaders. And this means that they're taking away the very last hope that these people have, that these Jews, their political will to be defiant is being destroyed. And so we get to verse 31, and we hear about King Jehoiakim, who's been in prison since the age of 18. He was only on the throne for 100 days, and then the Babylonians conquer him and cart him off to jail for 37 years in a dungeon. But now there's a new king. His name literally means evil Marduk, which is, Marduk is the name of one of the Babylonian gods. But he releases Jehoiakim, and this is a bittersweet ending. It's not like this is a happy ending because he's under house arrest. Yes, he's eating fine, but he's under house arrest. But this is a promise from God because Jehoiakim will be the link between King David and Jesus. Because Jehoiakim is released from prison, he will have a family, and that family will eventually give birth to Jesus. And so here is the seed. Here is the planting of the Messianic promise from David to Jesus, and the Babylonian exile could not stop it. Well, thanks, friends. Have a blessed day.